Welcome to the Dental Implant Practices podcast, where each episode will explore how to integrate dental implants into your practice and into bone, with your host, Dr. Philip Gordon.
Welcome back to another episode of the Dental Implant Practices podcast. I'm your host, Philip Gordon, and it's a pleasure for me today to introduce Dr. Trent McCord. Trent grew up in Northwest Arkansas, and then he attended college at William Jewell College in Kansas City, which is actually in my backyard, where he met his wife, Sarah. Then he went on to earn his Doctor of Dental Surgery at the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry. And in dental school, he was class vice president and won the Edward L. Wilson Award. So if you've met Trent or talked to Trent, he's a very social guy, so you'll know that vice president is probably selling it short. Probably should have been class president, if I would say so.
No way. Vice president means I didn't have to do anything. The president did all the work. I just got a title.
I actually like that better. It's kind of like the backup quarterback who gets paid almost as much and doesn't get hit with all the hits, right? So.
Absolutely, and there's not a lot of injuries in dental school, so I never got called up to be president. That's great.
That's great, yeah. So why don't you tell me about your progression through private practice? I know you worked at a clinic for a while and just recently opened up your own practice. So kind of walk me through your, you've been out of school about 4 or 5 years, is that right?
Well, about 3 or 4. I graduated in 2013. I was going to buy an right out of school, and it didn't end up working out. I think that I've come to find out that happens a lot more than people realize. So I was left with a license and no job. And so I got a job working at a local corporate dental office nearby. Did that for about a year. It was really stressful, really hard for me because I went from a couple patients a day in school to a full patient load at a corporate practice, marketing a lot, tons of patients. You know, you're meeting all your dental school requirements like in a week. And so it was like drinking through a fire hydrant. So I did that for about 8 months where I was tremendously stressed out. And then from there ended up at a community clinic. It's a FQHC, saw mainly Medicaid, so a lot of pedo, a lot of amalgams, a lot of extractions, and a clinic. Got to work with some awesome people there. But I was there for about 2 years while I knew I wanted to open my own office. So did the research and I was at that other clinic while I, got my own office opened up, which opened back in April. So we've just been open 6 months now here in Northwest Arkansas. It's a town called Centerton. So that was kind of my last couple of years. Was thought I had a plan, buy a practice, and then just been bouncing all over the place till I settled in. Now I have a practice. It just took me a while to get here.
That's okay. I think a lot of people have a different path to practice ownership, and a lot of times we look back at what we originally thought we wanted, and it's probably for the better that, some things maybe didn't work out. You got some experience along the way and then got to do it probably, your way. And I think ultimately you'll probably be much more satisfied with that. So it's interesting how life throws you curveballs, but sometimes it's better for you that way.
I wholeheartedly believe that. Looking back, there were lots of really stressful times. And it was like, what on earth? And every single time it's always worked out for the better, whether it was a lease falling through or a job falling through or whatever. So sucks while you're in the midst of it, but things have a tendency to work out for the best, at least for me so far.
Yeah, I agree. You've got to take those times, and especially like dental school where there was a lot of stress, and you've got to take those times and say, okay, these moments are going to make me better and learn from them and take that experience and move on to the next step. And I think, looking back, those are some of your most enjoyable moments. But so tell me how you started your dental office. You didn't just wing it. You've got a great going dental office. Tell me how you hit the ground running here. What's been your key to success here?
Well, I would say the first thing for me as far as deciding to open my own office, I always wanted to have my own office, not open my own office. I found on Dental Town years ago in dental school, a guy posting his startup journey, a guy named Scott Luna, who you've actually already interviewed and I just listened to before here. And man, that guy, he posted on Dental Town years ago just how he opened his startup practice. I mean, just blew the doors off the thing. Very organized, systemized guy. He's now teaching practices or teaching seminars called breakaway practice seminars. If anyone listen to this, if you want a class to take for a startup or just any business systems, I mean, that probably was the best thing ever happened to me as far as owning a business, is coming across his thread on Dentaltown and then taking his course, learning, changed me from I need to buy an established practice to, well, maybe I can make my own from the ground up. And so that was kind of, and I took my wife to the class with me, who's not a dentist. She's a nurse practitioner, but, we had been through, trying to find a practice, buy a practice, had one. Well, the original one fell through, and then had another one we thought we were a partner with, and then it didn't end up working out. And then Sarah, when I went to class, she's like, why don't you just open your own? And that's not something I would have expected she would have said, because it involves a lot of risk and stress. And so from there, we started looking for a location, because that's kind of found out that's the most important part of a startup. You're not opening with any patients. So you want to get people in the door. So demographics are very important. You want to go where there's a lot of people and not a lot of dentists, because you want to give yourself an opportunity to fill your doors from day one. So we found a good location where we are in Centerton, Northwest Arkansas. We're just a couple miles from Walmart World Headquarters. So there's a bunch of people, area's growing fast. Everyone's employed. And there's not a lot of dentists. There's only one other dentist in the town I'm in right now. And so we're the only two here. That'll change soon, but it's enabled us to be very busy, from our first month open, seeing 100 and more new patients a month, which has been great. Really stressful, but it's been good to be busy and have patients.
Well, that's a great story. I didn't realize your wife was an NP. My wife just finished up her nurse practitioner school and graduated and passed her boards this last week. So
give her a hug and a kiss. I know that's stressful getting through this. Well, I mean, we have our schooling, but I don't know how your wife did it, but Sarah, she worked in clinical hours and did school, and they have
raised my two kids and had to take care of me all at the same time. So I don't know how they put up with us, but they're smarter and better than us in every way. Absolutely. So you're out there by Bentonville, out there by Walmart. So you obviously found out what kind of insurance they take and signed up with that probably right away. And I know, like you said, moving to the right spot's definitely, a big deal there. So I think, as I looked at other practices to acquire, I kept finding a similar theme. I kept looking around thinking these practices just don't look any good. Why would I pay $600,000-$700,000 for a practice that needs a facelift and it doesn't have any dentistry to do anyway? I've always thought, I just need to start some more of my own. But it definitely takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of fortitude. And I know you've got a pretty popular post on Dentaltown yourself, that kind of outlines all your success. And I want to share that a moment, because I think you've got quite a following on there, and you're pretty open and honest, and I love that about you. You're saying, hey, here's who I am, here's what I'm doing. For better, for worse, it's worked for me, and hoping that you can help other people with that. So tell me about your post and how that's been going for you.
Well, I kind of started seeing a trend on Dentaltown was people would do a startup and they just get on there and ask questions, or they document it. Scott had his, and then there's been other people that do it. And, some of the people on there that have posted, they just kind of message like, hey, you need to open your own thread. You'll get so much value. You'll help out so many people, but everyone will chip in and help you out. And I mean, when I'm not exactly the most technical, should we say, formal, I'm a dope. So a lot of my posts are I'm just a moron that happens to be a dentist, have a dental practice, trying to have a good time and get better. And so I just opened the thread. It's called A Dope Does a Startup, and started on it, and it had a great response. A bunch of people hopping on there, asking their own questions. So I get to help people out. But, more than anything, I'm posting, like, what on earth do I do here? How do I do this? I mean, because I am not Scott Luna. I am not a genius and systems. I try to learn from those guys, but I'm in my practice trying to do the best I can of what I've learned from other people, but really not. There's so much room for improvement with my practice, but you know what? I'm trying, I'm enjoying it, and things are going on. I think most of us are probably like that, not the superstars, just regular people, but even regular folks like myself can have success, especially if we learn from some of the other people that have done it before and do it well.
Yeah, I think you're right on there. I love following your posts and love what you're doing. And that's what, inspired me to do this podcast was I think, I'm just a normal dentist out there trying to help people make a good living and, try to further this thing, further my career and push this thing down the road and help other people along the way. I'm not inventing anything cool or coming up with my own systems. I'm just trying to get a hold of experts and glean some advice from them. And if I can get 2 or 3 pointers from 50 or 100 of the top people in implant dentistry and share that with other dentists, then I think, if we can all share some knowledge, then we'll be better off for it. So you learn a lot meeting people and talking with people. And like you and I were talking about, dentistry is a small community, and giving back to the community in addition to giving back to your patients is important. So who has been your biggest inspiration or coach so far in your early years of dentistry? Who's really been kind of the key people that have helped you to get to where you're at so far?
Well, so going back to Scotland and taking the breakaway practice seminars, that was the biggest one, seeing his posts and stuff on Dental Town, just business management, how to be a dentist, how to run a business. Howard Ferran's another one of those guys. He's the founder of Dental Town. He's got a podcast and he's on Dental Town, and I got to hear him speak a week and a half ago. If you haven't heard him speak, he's insane, but he just kind of tells it like it is with dentistry and has a good attitude about it, and just has really, really brought a lot of people together with Dental Town. Much as they say, so no dentist left to practice alone. It's a tough career we're in, and having somewhere like Dental Town just to go vent or ask questions or learn with thousands of other dentists has been great. So those two people, it's not like they're practicing in my hometown and I know them very well. Just met them in passing, but they've had such an influence in helping other dentists out. It's been great being able just to learn from a distance.
Howard Ferran has definitely changed the game of dentistry, and I don't think any of us can ever pay him back enough for starting this whole Dental Town deal. And not only for starting it, but the leadership that he has led it with. He could have sold it out, and it could have all been about marketing and money and whatever. And he says, that's not what this is about. This is here to help dentists have a place for community and further things along. And I respect that about him for sure. I'm in the middle of listening to his 30-day MBA podcast right now, which is about an hour a day, and just soaking that up. And anytime he talks about something, I love hearing it because he's got such great insight in life and balance and just business in general. I've read his book and and his approach to dentistry and all that. I just love that. So I would agree. Those are a couple of great mentors. So tell me about how you got started in implant dentistry. I know you are just kind of starting your implant journey. Kind of tell me what piqued your interest in implant dentistry, what you've done so far, and what you're hoping to do here in the future.
So for an implant podcast, I'm probably the least experienced implant dentist on here, but I'm hoping to make that change. Since I've always wanted to place implants just because I like surgery. I like taking out teeth, the blood, the guts. It doesn't bother me, and I've seen, just in my short career, a lot of patients that could really benefit from implants, but they just don't have them. They don't want to go to the referral, or it's cost prohibitive for people. And so, couple that with it. Now I have my own practice, and these are my patients, and I'm trying to refer them to my periodontist who's awesome. They do such a great job, but a lot of people just like, can't you do that? I'm like, well, I don't know, probably. So I've taken some weekend courses and knew kind of, had an idea about it. And then recently just finished up a 4-week continuum through the McGarry Implant Institute in Oklahoma City. Had a friend take it, recommended it to me. So I took it. Last weekend it finished up, and I got to place my first 2 implants. So for an implant podcast, I have now placed 2 implants. So I'm probably an expert and just could answer any questions. But so I've placed 2, and now I'm looking at how do I make it happen in my practice, and that's kind of where I am now. I've got the knowledge, I've got the training, I've placed a couple. Now it's how do I implement it in my practice, which is what I've kind of been dragging my feet on. But I started talking to patients about it, but I haven't scheduled any yet because I got to make sure I have all the right parts and pieces, and I'd like to, get a cone beam before I take them. So I need to send them out for that. So, I mean, that's where I am. That's where I am now. I've placed 2. I know how to place them. I want to start placing them for my patients. I just got to start doing it.
Yeah, I think you described that well, and there's probably a lot of people that are in that same situation. You talked about a couple things. You've placed your first 2, and I think that, that's great because you've got a feel for it now. You know what that's like. I think placing your first one's the hardest because you got to get to that point where you have the knowledge and confidence to do it. I think it's kind of like, becoming a millionaire. They say your first $1 million is the hardest to make, and I think that's kind of like that with implant dentistry. You've got to get over the hump. And then after that, you got to look for other opportunities. But, you definitely talked about a lot of struggles there. It's okay. We've got to get the kits. We got to get the parts. We got to learn how to diagnose. We got to talk about treatment planning in the office. Where do I get a cone beam? Where do I go for training? I mean, each one of those questions right there is a whole topic on its own. Talk to me a little bit about the McGarry Institute down there in Oklahoma City? Is that right?
Yep. It's in Oklahoma City. Dr. McGarry and Dr. Bauma are the dentists that teach it. They're both prosthodontists. So it's kind of a restoratively driven. It's coming from a restorative perspective, I guess you could say. So they have a busy prosthodontic practice in Oklahoma City, and then teach this course as well. It's been 4 weekends, and it's got a didactic portion, and then we have an anatomist come in, and we get to place some implants on a cadaver skull or cadaver head, and do the dissections and stuff. And then there's a pharmacology portion. We had a pharmacologist come in, Dr. Fazio. He's a periodontist, I don't know, somewhere, but it was probably the only pharmacy lecture I've had I stayed awake for. And then it ends with the last weekend you have bring your own patient and get to place implants on a live patient. All through the course we're getting to watch live surgeries and stuff too, which has been helpful. So I took my uncle up there. He's a dentulist. I'm making him a denture, and so we placed 2 on the lower interior, the lower mandible. The hardest part by far was getting the dang flap laid. I mean, poor guy, I'm trying to get the flap. I don't know how long it took. It took forever. And then, the implants are just boink, boink, and all done. But laying the daggone flap was like, what? I had no idea how. I've laid flaps before, but not on a dentulist mandible, I guess. But got through it. I placed the implants, and I got done, and it was like, that was fun. That was kind of a rush. I need to start doing this more. And that was, 4 or 5 days ago. Yeah,
once you get a taste for it, you'll start to love it. It's great. I was going to ask. Hopefully, your first patient wasn't your mother-in-law, but your uncle's probably close enough. So, keeping it close to family, that's all right. Actually drilling the implants and placing the implant might be the easiest part of implant dentistry. It's everything else like you talked about. The right kind of flaps, the right sort of getting patients numb, getting access, staying away from the anatomical landmarks. But a lower edentulous mandible is definitely not the easiest case for your first one, but sounds like you nailed it. So,
well, we're 4 days in; they haven't fallen out yet, so that's good.
Go. Yeah, just keep your fingers crossed. What's the worst that could happen, right?
Well, it's my Uncle Terry. He's been a dentulist forever, and his whole jawbone could fall off, and I don't think he would care. So that's why we did Uncle Terry. So he was excited to have a chance to get some implants.
Yeah, your first lesson there that you may not even realize was patient selection is very important. So site selection and patient selection is huge, but maybe the most important thing. So you talked about cone beam. What was your exposure to cone beam throughout that class? What has been your exposure to cone beam in your practice, and what are your thoughts about cone beam moving forward? Do you have access to a scan center or a like you said, your periodontist there? How are you going to tackle the cone beam issue?
Well, I want one. So of course you get out of a class and you're like, okay, I need one of these.
And then you go test drive one and see the sticker shock and think, okay, what can I do here?
Yeah, so McGarry, they're big on cone beam. They've got a cone beam, and they've got a couple, and they're pretty much like, they're taking cone beams before every single patient. I don't think they came out and said it's standard of care, but that was basically the message. And I see why. Like after going through the course, you've got things you have a huge ridge on a pano, and it turns out there's concavity down there. There's no width on the ridge. You just don't know that without scanning or flapping it back. So they really like to do cone beams. In the course, they'd take a pre-op scan, plan it, and then do your guide holes, place your pins, and then take a mid-procedure scan, just a smaller scan of that area to make sure they're on track and where they want to go. They don't do guided. I think I probably differ with them because I plan on going guided. I've taken a Blue Sky Bio course, followed a lot of you probably know Corey Glenn on Dental Town, and there's a lot of people doing guided, and I'm seeing how accurate it can be and just the success people have. So that's going to be something I want to go. Of course, you got to have a cone beam to do that. And then right now, I send my periodontists. They have a cone beam. They're more than happy to take a scan for my patients. I mean, when I start sending them over there, I mean, these guys they're going to help me place implants. They're just helpful, good people, and they're fantastic. So I'm really blessed to have my periodontist that I have in the area that's supporting and not, oh, you're not a specialist, you're not allowed to do this. So
I think that's critical. Yeah. Having a good relationship with a specialist, knowing where to refer, having them kind of slightly mentor you and be understanding that you're part of the implant team, that's important.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to use them until I'm really looking at getting a cone beam just because when I opened my practice, I got an older used Pano, so I'm not out much. And, it's one I could sell and make my money back on, and looking at, the cost per month of a cone beam versus if that allows me to place more implants in my practice, I'm not even helping with endo and other areas. Yeah, I'm probably thinking about it a lot harder than I should be, but I mean, I feel like I'm a kid that just went and looked at a puppy, So I've seen them in action. I've seen what they can do, and I know I want one. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. That would be the biggest purchase of my life.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, once you're exposed to that CBCT 3D technology, you won't look at dentistry the same way. I got ours for implants, and now I use it for everything. I use it for pain that I can't figure out. I use it for, I think I see something on my x-ray. I take the cone beam and there's a humongous abscess there that you just would have never seen. Or, I do a lot of guided surgery. I do a lot of kind of 2 millimeter twist pilot drill surgeries. So I do, I'm guiding everything that I'm doing. I'm diagnosing so much better. It's made me a better dentist tenfold. Just because you don't know what you can't see. And when you can see things clearly with the 3-dimensional, you approach everything in dentistry differently, I feel. So, I'm not trying to sell one. Of course, I wish I had one to sell, but, my push is I can't wait for 3D technology to become so affordable that every dentist has one.
Well, the prices are coming down. So
they are. Mm-hmm.
Years are hearing people spend $150,000, $175,000 on one, and the ones I'm looking at are, down under 100 or around that area. So,
depending on field of view and all that, you can get one that's moderately priced, depending what you want to do now.
Of course, I'll probably buy one, and we'll come out with some new one that's $50,000. I'm like, no, but oh well. Yeah.
You can't let the fear of that keep you out of the game, because the potential return on your practice will be tenfold. You'll do more than you ever thought with it. So
that's what I've been told, and why I'm looking at them so hard. Just because, right now I have a patient. I look at the site. I'm like, I think that'd be a good implant, but I'm going to need a scan. So it's like, okay, I got to send it to the periodontist, and are they going to want to go? Seems like it'd be easy just to we're going to do a complimentary scan right now. We're going to see what we're looking at.
Yeah,
so
that's what I do.
It would help. So,
yep.
Yeah, oh yeah.
What's your next big hurdle that you see in your mind to jump to? Okay, I've placed some implants. I feel like I've got some good training. Now I want to place a bunch more. What's other than maybe just purchasing a cone beam? What do you feel is your next step? It being early into the game, what do you feel is next for you?
Honestly, next for me is place one in my office, because there's that. And I get, I'm just a basket case sometimes. I get nervous, scared about stuff. And so I need to get over that hump of have a case in my office, start with a simple case. I've already got patients I've talked to about it that just go through the process of send them to get a scan, use that scan, to make a guide, and then carry out the procedure start to finish in my office. Sounds like such a small, simple thing, but that first, I just know once I finish that first one, okay, my team knows how to do it. They know we can do it. They're excited about it. We're all talking about it, presenting it to patients. That's the next step for me. And so that's my goal, is to go ahead and, find someone, send some patients, send them to get a scan. And honestly, I'm thinking of just finding some patients I like and doing them, place the implant for free and just restore. Just so I can get over that mental hurdle of placing them in my office and help out some patients, because we've got some really good patients I think could really benefit from it.
Yeah, I did something similar to that too when I was wanting to get in. I thought, you know what, I need this for a confidence builder for me. I need to get my systems down. I need to get my team on board. They need to see it and believe it. You've got to preach it to yourself. You got to teach it to the team. So, I found 3 or 4 patients and I said, look, I'm helping part of an implant test or whatever. And my implant rep offered me some free implants so we can do the placement at no charge, and then the restorative part will be X. And so, they were thrilled about that. And I did my first 4 or 5 implants in my office that way. And, you could even bring maybe an implant rep in and say they're part of the whatever, the experiment procedure, and have them over your shoulder helping if that's something you want, or have you could do one out of have your periodontist come over and in a way to where you don't feel like, hey, my patients don't realize this is my first implant I've placed, but you're starting small, learning how to do your instrument setup, how to do your first one. You're going to go slow and taking all your x-rays and all your checks, and then so that's a great way to start.
Yeah, I just need to do it. I need to talk to some patients, present finances, make sure they're okay doing it, and schedule it, and just do it. I can quit dragging my feet. So that for me is my next big hurdle. And then from there, there it just gets easier and better. I remember getting out of dental school. I'd never done a surgical extraction. I never took a handpiece to a bone before, and I was just mortified. Same thing with my first immediate denture. And you get through it, and now that's just, don't even blink an eye. I get it done. It's a piece of cake. It's something I enjoy, and it's just that same thing again. Something new, something different. Just got to do it and get over that hump.
Yeah, I almost enjoy surgically extracting teeth more now than basic. I look for excuses to get in there and cut at times when my assistant's like, shouldn't this just be a basic extraction? I said, well, you never know. I may. So I'm actually in there, cutting teeth in half and flipping them out. And it's just, now I enjoy it. But yeah, I used to be terrified of that stuff because, we weren't taught that in school, and we weren't shown how to do that. And so once you get over that curve, okay, I can do this. This isn't that hard. Once I've learned the principles and stay true to those principles, it really can be a fun, easy, stress-free process. Oh yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for. Something I can do predictably, stress-free. I'm not probably ever going to be the guy that does 100% of the implants in office. I've just seen the work of our periodontists, and those guys are awesome. And I'm going to feed those guys. I don't care to do difficult aesthetic cases, but I don't care to do crowns on difficult aesthetic cases. Like I don't want my stress to be too high, but I want something predictable that I enjoy, that can be good service to my patients and more affordable. Sometimes you go into a specialist.
Yeah, sometimes you want the best result, and sometimes you want the least amount of stress. And so you've got to learn to choose which one's a balance of those. Oh, yeah. It's not always a good fit to do every case. So
same with endo for me. I send a lot to my endodontist. I just don't feel like stressing myself out.
Molar endo is a chore, and if you don't enjoy it, boy, it's a lot of stress and a lot of work. And pick your cases for sure. So. What's been your experience in bone grafting in your office? Have you dabbled with that much, or is that something on your horizon too?
Oh man, that's something on my horizon too. That goes right back to implants. I've learned about it. I've never done it. I've done it on a cadaver, but cadavers, it's easier on a cadaver, I found. But I got to order my stuff, and I got to start doing it. I know I need to do that. Just if I'm going to be placing implants, I got to save that bone. And once again, that's just me dragging my feet. I just got to order it and do it. Now, the bone grafting is not so intimidating to me, at least socket preservation. I've seen enough of those done, and so I can do it in amalgam. I can probably pull this off too. So yeah, got the knowledge, learned about it, seen it done. I just need to do it. Quit dragging my feet. Can you tell that I'm a procrastinator?
Well, sometimes you got to take, someone poking you with a sharp object to make a change. And so, but that site preparation, goes in hand with, early implantology. I think, if you're taking out teeth and you want to place implants, you got to look at that bone. So that socket preservation is a great place to start, for sure. So if you had to look at your next CE for implant or your next training or what you said you've been to a Blue Sky Bio course, are you going to look any more down to that path, or are you looking at some other courses or other systems that have caught your eye? What's on your radar that way?
So before I opened my practice, I went down and took the Blue Sky course, which was really good, but it was geared around using their software, how to use their software, do guided. And then that was a good course. Corey Glenn taught it, another guy I just love. And so I took that course, and then I was like, okay, I need to do implants. I ordered the kit, but then I just kind of decided just being me, I wanted more clinical, hands-on. And so I signed up, took this other course just to kind of give me that confidence. 'Cause I'm pretty cautious to walk into stuff until I'm completely ready. So now that I've had that course, now it's like, well, dang, I should probably redo the Blue Sky course so I can remember how to do the software again. But I'll probably just get on and use their videos online and stuff to get a refresher on their system. That's how I plan on placing my implants is using their software, their implants, and just getting it done. They've got a Facebook page with people posting cases and dentists asking questions, giving advice and feedback, and that's tremendously helpful for someone like me. So I plan to go the Blue Sky route, use their guided packages and just try to make it simple on myself.
I like their approach because they're trying to give you knowledge for free, and if you like their stuff, great, you can buy that too. Because I think anymore, if I can find a place where I like your information or I like your course, I'll probably buy your stuff too. But if you're not willing to put it all on the line for me, I'm not going to just go out and buy your stuff because it's a fancy new toy. I feel like I want someone who's kind of invested in me too. And they seem like a group that would do that for you. Yeah.
So I mean, they've been, well, and a lot of them are on Dental Town and just been giving feedback for years, and then Armin with Cadre, Armin Razayan, he's a Dental Town guy, been on there for years, and then started doing the Cadre, the design. I mean, you can message those guys on Dental Town. They're going to answer you back whether you've taken their course or not. So, that's been good. The one downside with that is not having a rep here nearby to kind of hold my hand through the first couple of cases. I would see that benefit in some of the bigger companies, having someone come into the office, walk you through your first couple of cases. But I mean, I'll probably have my periodontist come in and help me out with that. He said he would in the past, but now I'm going to hold it to him. I mean, everyone's got good stuff to offer. So just kind of picking what works for you and who's going to help you out and who you like and trust, just like anything. If you've got
a couple patients you send to your periodontist, you should have them go over on a day that you're off and maybe watch the procedure or help out. You could say, we're going to talk to your periodontist in advance and say, okay, let's do this case together. And you can tell the patient, okay, we're going to do this with the periodontist, and the two of us are going to help this thing out to make sure that we get the prosthetic and restorative aspect aligned too. So you can maybe go over there and do some shadowing at his office on your own patients, or just on his own patients on your day off. So if they're willing to open up to you, that might be another good resource for some more of that over-the-shoulder, hands-on training, which I think is the most invaluable you can get.
Oh yeah, I've actually done that a couple times now, so that's been helpful. It's been kind of fun too. Your patients and you go over and you get to see your patient. You're like, hey, I'm here.
I think they like it because you can just tell them, I'm just helping make sure everything's taken care of you right and going good. And they don't have a problem with that.
Oh, not at all. They appreciate it.
Yeah. So outside of dentistry, what else is going on in your practice right now that you're really excited about? I know you stay on the front edge with a lot of things. What's going on that's really fun for you in just your general practice right now?
Well, we're growing fast, and so we've been open 6 months now, and I've kind of gone through a lull the last couple of months. Not a lull, but like just being stressed out and kind of ho-hum. Kind of glum, not excited to go into the practice, and you just stressed out with the growth and everything because it's been a lot. I'm seeing problems, things that could be done better, and things that need to improve. I mean, things are going great for a startup, but I'm starting to come out of that now where I'm getting excited. I just added a second hygienist, and her first day was Monday, and she's just been great. So both of my hygienists are right out of school, and I mean they've just taken off. Great with patients, pleasant, fun to be around. I'm adding a second front desk that never done dentistry before, so I'm excited about her. And then the one that's been my front desk, she just turned in a notice, so she's moving. We've got long hours. I think it was difficult for her, so we're going to be sad to see her go. But at the same time, I think it'll be something less stressful for her. So I'm excited for her to get a better opportunity works for her. So now we're going to be short-staffed on the front desk, but it's like, well, okay, it's an opportunity to bring some new people in and kind of start anew, make sure they have good habits and systems and follow through with that. So it's really just been this past week. I've started kind of getting excited about our growth, and instead of stalling it, continuing it on, not just with implants, but just trying to get patients in quicker because we've not been good about that, which has turned into a lot of waits for patients, which ends up in no-shows. And we've been, we like to be involved in our community. It's a small town, and I grew up in a small town, so that's kind of one of our things we like to do is give back. And so we've started really, donating. I mean, people come by the office, can you donate to this? Like, yeah, sure, why not? And we've done that with just about everybody. We had a roller derby team that we're sponsoring, just came in yesterday, and so we're in the middle of seeing patients. Just tell our patients, hey, with the roller derby teams here, we're sponsoring, we can get a picture. And they're all like, yeah, sure, go for it. So we all crammed in the hall with these girls in their roller skates and got a photo, and so that's fun. So just even the non-dental parts of the practice, just growing a team and being part of the community has starting to get to be a lot of fun. And as we, financially grow, we're able to do more of that and give back, be a part of our community. And so that's something that's brought, a lot of joy and been fun for the team and been fun for me to help out and be able to do. Because, man, if you just focus on dentistry and drilling holes in people and stabbing people with needles, I mean, golly, like that's why people get depressed. And I've kind of fallen into that in the past. But being able to use what we do as an avenue to do things that people actually like and enjoy is something I'm trying to capitalize on because it just makes me happier.
Yeah, I've been there in a lot of those instances too. Sometimes you just kind of get in a lull and you're just kind of dragging your rear into the office and you just take a deep sigh and think, oh my gosh, what am I going to do today? And then, that's when I'd like to look at myself and look internally and say, okay, you know what? You can't do everything yourself. We try to do everything in dentistry ourselves. We try to be masters at everything. It's like, okay, I need to delegate to my team. I need to help train them. It's not about me here. I'm here to help other people. I'm here to make my staff better staff. I'm here to make patients better patients. Like you said, you can't get focused on just the drill and fill and billing and the rut and the turnover and the chairs and cycling in and out patients. You've got to put energy into your team, put energy into your patients, and bring up the attitude in the office and things that, and then your days will be more profitable that way if everyone's having fun.
Absolutely. And the delegation is something that I've not been, I thought I was a good delegator just because I don't know what's going on the front desk. I just let them do it. But like I've been looking for months at doing automatic patient reminder and digital health histories, patient forms. And I mean, I've been looking and stressing about just implementing and doing that for months. And then finally I was just like, talked to my hygienist. I was like, can you guys do this? Like, yeah. And so like 2 days later, we're registered. We got iPads ordered to come in for it. And they're like working on scheduling training and stuff. I was like, why didn't I do that 3 months ago? So just those little things with the practice, I've got an awesome team, intelligent people that want to help see the practice grow. And, I got to delegate, and I mean, not just delegate like, oh, you do this, but let them do stuff because they're good at it, and they're probably better at it than me. So I got to be better about that, because I clearly do not always know what I'm doing. So
yeah, I like to equate it like a head coach in football. I like to revert everything to football analogies, but very very rarely is the head coach the best offensive coordinator, the best defensive coordinator, knows the exact ins and outs of this and that. They're there to put the right team together, keep everyone motivated, and focus on the end goal. But you've got to empower your employees. You've got to give them trust. You've got to open up, be honest, and be humble with them. Show some vulnerability, but empower them to do things and run with it. And most of the time they'll surprise you because they want direction. They want to make the practice succeed. So if you give them these responsibilities and tasks, they'll gladly, help out for that if you got the right people on board. So, yeah, you definitely can't carry all that on your shoulders your own. That'll burn you out real quick. So,
it burns you out, and then you don't get anything done, which is what I was finding happening. So I'm excited to be a better delegator, and even if they don't know what they're doing and they do 80% of how I would have wanted it. Okay. I mean, 80% of something but it done is a lot better than not getting done at all. And chances are they can do a lot better than 80%, especially these office system implementation type things.
Yeah. Now, who did you end up going with for the office system? Just out of curiosity.
Open Dental.
Open Dental. Okay. So they've got a recall system that does all that for you, and the email confirmations and all that. No, sorry for that piece there.
Yappy, a company called Yappy.
Yeah. I've got them too.
Okay. Do you like them?
Yeah, they're great. So they do all the registration on the iPads now. So we've got rid of paper. So all the health histories on the iPads. They sign all their consent forms. They do the confirmations and all that. So it's real high tech, and patients love it. And it's great for our team once you get it integrated.
Awesome. Well, that's what I've wanted to do, because all we're doing right now is just calling to verify and confirm, but I know people like text and email, and I think that'll help just with confirmations, and then the digital workflow, sign on iPads, it'll free up. We spend a lot of time inputting stuff,
scanning, typing. Yep. And then a lot of it, I haven't gone through. I don't, if I were to go through and check to make sure every informed consent or every paper gets put in the computer, I mean, it's not, just because we're human. So having it all done right there, I think is going to be a bit of a change. But, I'm bringing on new people at the front desk, so they're going to just learn from that to begin with. And I think it's going to free up a ton of time up front. I think patients will think it's cool. I think it'll make us a lot better about keeping up with informed consents and all those financial arrangements, all that stuff. Yeah. My front desk was like, oh, here he comes with another system. And now that we've got it, they are so glad that I've got it. They said, this has been one of the best things we've done. And I mean, and there's not we don't miss informed consents anymore. If I do root canals, extractions, implants, if I'm seating a veneer case, if I'm sending a denture off to be completed, we have informed consents on everything. All the paperwork goes seamlessly in there. Someone can fill out their paperwork off the internet. It's right in their chart. So it's just, it's kind of a no-brainer. I think they're the first ones that really finally put it all together. So I feel like I should get a royalty for as much as I'm plugging them here. But no, I just think they're a great company.
You and me both. We need our Gina Dorfman. She's a dentist that owns it. Give us a royalty. No, I heard her speak last year, and it's like, she's sharp, and she's on Dental Town all the time, posting, helping dentists, answering questions, and I like that. I mean, so that's a big reason why I'm using them.
Yeah, she gets it, and they're definitely on the ball with that. So, okay, in closing here, who's someone you think I should talk to next? Give me two people you think I should interview next.
I would. I mean, honestly, I'm going to call my periodontist and tell him that you're going to interview him, whether he wants to or not. His name's Jonathan Blancett. He just graduated 2 years ago from Baylor. And so he's a younger guy, and we're buddies. But I mean, the stuff he does and is able to do, and the cases and all the learning he's gone through the last couple of years is just, I've been nothing but impressed. Like I love the guy. I love having him nearby. So I think he would be a good person to interview because he's tremendously knowledgeable, especially after, talking to someone like me. And he's a young guy. So he's learning. He's placed a ton of implant. He's learned, he's only been doing this for, with his residency and work, like 5 years or so. So I think he would be a good one to talk to. The other one is, I could see if maybe Dr. Bauma or Dr. McGarry with the McGarry Implant Institute, the course I just got done talking to. I think they would be good ones to talk to as well. Prosthodontists, wet-fingered dentists, and just guys, good teachers, care about teaching, and good at what they do, very knowledgeable on implants too. So I think those two would be, I'm going to tell them, I'm going to send them messages and say that they have to do it no matter what.
Expect a call. I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm always looking for someone to kick down other doors for me. So I can only blaze my own path enough. So yeah, I'd appreciate that. I would love to talk to a periodontist because I would love to get a specialist point of view. And, anybody that's and a prosthodontist too, from a restorative end backwards and it's teaching, I think, you've got to think about things prosthetically. And I love prosthodontists that do implants too, because I think they probably have it figured out more than anybody. So I'll keep them on my radar and wait for you to get me their information the next week or two. So that'd be great.
Cool. Yeah, man.
Okay, last question. What are your 3 best practices as it relates to your dental office? What are the best three things you use right now, or the best 3 decisions you've made in your career with your practice?
So since opening my practice, I think some very, very simple things that I've done, but gotten a lot of positive feedback from appreciative patients is, number one, I write a handwritten thank you note to every new patient, even the kids. Even if they can't read, I write a little thank you note for mom to read to them and put a sticker in there for them. And they appreciate it. I mean, I've had, parents, teenagers, like they just love that. I mean, it's almost every day someone's talking about a handwritten thank you note, how much they appreciated it. And I kind of enjoy doing it. So I, you get to know your patients. I want it to be a family practice, get to know my patients. So I've been doing that, and people just really, really appreciate that. Number 2 is post-op calls. So anytime I give a patient a shot, I call them either that night if it was a morning patient, or the next day we're in the office, it was an afternoon patient. Just call, check on them. I mean, even if it was an occlusal, people appreciate it. And it's, I call and find out, some people are having an issue, and I find out about it. I have them come in and we check on them, and we get them taken care of. I don't want people at home with a high filling or a rough spot, and just dealing with it, because I think that's how it has to be. So a lot of patients really appreciate that. And I think that cuts down on our post-op calls too, because I'm calling to check on them, and we catch those things pretty quick after we do it. And then I would say the last thing just for me is getting involved in the community. We've been doing a donation every month. It's been $500 last couple months just to local community groups. And we have a big check that's dry erasable, and we do that donation once a month. We take a portion of our new patient exam fees and give it to somebody, get a picture and put it on Facebook. Patients have loved Facebook. And we just get involved with our patients on Facebook, and then do a lot of donations if someone's in need or asks. And, we're busy. It's not going to kill us to donate and give back, and people appreciate it. And we kind of want to be that community local dental office that's there to help people out. So those are 3 things we've done. Nothing complicated, nothing hard, just simple things. I think it comes down to caring about people and showing them you care. People appreciate it.
Those are probably some of the better things I've ever heard. We write handwritten cards, but probably not enough. You just can't let people know enough that you're on their team, you care about them, and and if there's any issues, you're going to take care of them. So I think the handwritten card and the post-op calls are probably the best way that you have control to strengthen your practice. And so you are going to succeed if you do those things. And then giving back to the community, I think that's fantastic. I definitely respect anybody who gives back, because, everybody needs a little help every now and then. So, definitely, giving back to the community that, I always look at it this way, if it wasn't for our patients, we wouldn't have the life that we have. So, they're paying us to take care of them, so we need to give something back to the community, because we're all pretty blessed. So,
oh, we are. I mean, for all the complaints about insurance and difficult patients and blah 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 blah, like, life is good. We're in a good career. It's great. The hardest part is the fact that we're sticking people with needles and being a dentist. The dentistry part people don't like. So I think anything we can do to still let people know we care and we're not totally evil, I think people appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's good. So appreciate you taking my call today. If we get down the road 6 or 8 months, maybe I'll give you a call back and we could talk about those first 30 implants you placed between now and then. So
yeah, I could actually talk about implants.
Yeah, we'll actually have something more to talk about then that might be a little different now. So we'll catch up another time, and I'll look to see where we're going to be taking CE next, and maybe we'll meet up and have a couple beers together.
Man, that sounds good to me, Phil. And then my wife's family's from up in Kansas City, so next time we're up there, I may have to hit you up.
Yeah, hit me up. We'll get some barbecue and talk about Chiefs and Royals. So
that's awesome. I can handle that, man.
All right. Well, you have a great day. Appreciate you taking the phone call.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Phil.
Bye-bye.
Bye.